If you're dating after 40 and you keep attracting Mr. Unavailable on repeat, and what you really want is lasting love with Mr. Right, you're in the right place. Today, we're talking about something many emotionally aware women wrestle with after doing a lot of healing: how to have high standards without building emotional walls. So let's get started. Many single women over 40 looking for love are constantly disappointed from chasing connections that don't go anywhere. Hey, I'm Truly Eleanor. As an intuitive dating coach with 17 years experience, I help women trust themselves enough to choose the right guys to date so they can finally have a loving relationship that feels like home. If you're not subscribed to my channel, make sure you click that button so you don't miss an episode. Today, I want to talk about this very important truth that boundaries don't require hardness. I want that to sink in. Boundaries don't require hardness. So season 5 is about living from the identity of a woman who no longer chases love, but chooses it from calm confidence. The focus for this episode is shifting towards receiving partnership. Because once you've been hurt enough times, it can feel safer to protect yourself and protect your heart by becoming extremely guarded. And I know this well because I did it myself for so many years. But protection and openness can exist at the same time. There's a delicate balance that we're going to go into. The core shift is discernment without shutdown. It's using your awareness, using your intuition without slamming the door to your heart at the same time. Holding high emotional standards while remaining emotionally available. And the last core shift is learning to stay open while evaluating true alignment. Do I like this guy? Do I want to continue seeing him? And what I hope you're having sort of as a aha moment right now is I don't have to harden my heart to protect myself. What a concept. I can say no without closing off, without immediately shutting down and wanting to run away, which is what my instinct was to literally run away. Boundaries can be calm, clear, and compassionate. That's another thing that the women I've worked with over the years really struggle with, is feeling like they're being mean or that they're not giving someone a chance because they see themselves as highly compassionate, very heart-centered. And so when they feel like they're putting down a boundary or they're saying, I don't want this, that's them being mean or being hurtful to someone. And that is the last thing they want to do. And I want to just really bust that myth right now. Boundaries are compassionate. My goal for this episode is to help you understand how emotional walls often form after repeated disappointment, and to show you the difference between healthy discernment and protective shutdown, and support you in holding strong standards by staying emotionally open. We need to realize that having an open heart means that you are strong and powerful. It is more powerful to be that way than to close your heart and have your energy close to you. I can't remember who it was, maybe Heart Math or one of those organizations that did studies on people's heart presence. And someone like, for example, the Dalai Lama or other people who are spiritual teachers had a presence that was huge, and not meaning like an emotional wall. It was their heart presence reached out in a huge circumference around them. Whereas the average person has a very small heart presence. It's very much close to their chest. It's like I'm holding my cards close to my chest. I'm holding my energy in. Whereas the people, like the example is the Dalai Lama. I'm sure there's plenty of other spiritual teachers out there that are like this with a really big heart presence. And when I say power, I mean in terms of they're very much in their own self. They're grounded. They're connected to themselves. They're able to be spontaneous, carefree, open with others. They are genuine, and they approach people without the guard. And if you've ever been around someone who has a very open heart, you probably can tell right away. It's something that is very easily recognizable. So I don't really have to explain it, because if you've thought of someone who is very open-hearted and I think of it as like sunshine. They're just shining their light. They're shining like this bright sunshine, a bright light in the world, and they're shining it out. When you meet them, you immediately know. When you think of that person, or you think of an example like that, how do you feel about that person? Do you feel that they are weak? Do you feel that they are at risk of something, that they're vulnerable? And I would venture a guess to say that you probably don't think of them that way. We've just been conditioned to think that if we have this big open heart, this big heart presence where our love is shining out in every direction, that means we're like a sitting duck. And the exact opposite is true. So hopefully the wheels are turning on this one and you're thinking, wow, that I never thought of it like that. The identity shift we're talking about today is going from the woman who protects herself by building emotional walls to the woman who holds clear standards while staying open to connection. Both can be true. And I talked about this in the last episode, how you can have an yes and attitude about things. Yes, I'm healing, and I can also date, and I can also find a beautiful relationship that feels like home. Well, in this case, it's like, yes, I can have very high standards for myself and be open. Both can be true at the same time. And we need to be more inclusive for ourselves and accepting that all of these things can be happening at the same time. We're talking about going from being armored, thinking of that shield that you have. And if you've been in the new age or personal development world for any time whatsoever, you know that plenty of people used to talk about having a shield, be spiritually protected, and all of those type of things. And I've seen a new thing emerging where we're actually talking about being more of ourselves, expressing more of ourselves out into the world, showing up and taking up more space energetically and with your presence is actually a much better way of doing it than keeping everything close to your chest. So we're going from being guarded to discerning. And when we do this, the result is amazing. Dating becomes calmer and more self-respecting. You feel good about your dates, even if you don't have a connection with someone. You feel good about how the date went because you know you showed up as yourself, you showed up fully, and you feel really proud of yourself. Also, women trust themselves to walk away without emotional shutdown. So you can say things like, well, I don't feel the connection. I'm going to continue looking without collapsing or going into like, oh my God, he's going to be so hurt. I don't think he'll be able to handle this. He said that he just went through a bad breakup. Oh my God, what am I doing to him? Instead of thinking along those lines, you're going to be able to walk away and say, I wish you well. I wish you all the best, and remain open. Healthy men feel safer approaching and connecting with you because you are more open and you are less guarded, and there's less of that feeling of, no, I don't think I can talk to her because I just feel that the don't come any closer kind of vibe. And then the result is that love begins to flow towards openness instead of resistance. We don't want to constantly be in that hamster wheel of resisting and waiting for the other shoe to drop and worrying and wondering what's going to happen when he hurts me and what if he rejects me and all of those things, and getting out of that hamster wheel and moving more towards openness and trusting yourself to be able to handle what comes your way. Here's a scenario for you that will bring things home. So you've done the healing work and now you have strong boundaries. We're talking in the future. We're propelling into the future here. You've done the healing work and now you have strong boundaries. But sometimes the boundaries feel rigid and you're a little uncomfortable, a little unsure of that part. You find yourself scanning for red flags, staying really cautious, and holding back emotionally. And then over time, you notice something really important, that you don't need to close your heart to maintain your standards. You can stay open while simply observing whether someone shows up consistently. So it's being open, being fully present, and being tuned into yourself. How am I feeling right now? Observing the other person with that big picture kind of view, like, I feel good in this person's presence. How do I feel around him instead of how do I feel about him? What's going on with him, and trying to almost get inside his skin to figure out what he's doing, how he's feeling, how he's reacting to you, what that facial expression meant, because that keeps you very, very tight and very rigid. When you're open and you're like, well, how am I feeling? I'm present in this moment and I'm feeling that ability to have an exchange with this person. It feels like a flow. It feels like there's ease around it, and noticing those kind of things instead of being, well, I'm going to really shut myself down until I can figure out what he's all about. And then once I really figure out him and decode him, then I'll open up. So it's the other way around. It's opening up and trusting that you can handle whatever comes your way, however that date is going to go. You can be spontaneous, you can be in the moment, and trusting yourself that you can do that because you can. And like I talked about in the last episode, that takes practice. It takes the willingness to show up and do that in real time on dates, because you don't have to wait until you're really good at something. You're going to have to figure out how to be good at something by doing it. So our key method here, the Let Love In method, the first phase is true awareness. So in terms of the high standards and staying open, you're going to notice when discernment turns into emotional shutdown. You're just going to notice maybe what are your times when you feel automatically like shutting down, or when you notice yourself doing that. And it's just about observing. You're being the observer with yourself. The true acceptance piece is being okay with that, being okay with, oh, okay, I noticed myself shutting down here. I noticed that this was a part where I was feeling insecure, and my immediate reaction was to shut down. And the acceptance part is eventually moving into allowing yourself to stay open while still honoring your standards. True connection is the next part, and that's engaging with someone while calmly evaluating their actions over time. Again, being the observer of how you feel around them, how things flow back and forth, what's happening in your body, and being connected to yourself. You're only going to get important information that you need to have from your intuition and your heart when you're really connected to yourself. And that's why we have the third phase, the true connection. So boundaries are clarity, not hardness. It's like, well, I didn't like the fact that he was late, and I'm going to tell him I don't appreciate when someone's late, or saying it in a way that, I feel a little thrown off by the fact that you're late. And that's not hardness. You don't have to go into a whole spiral and say, I can't believe this guy's late. Why did he do this to me? I don't trust him, and immediately shutting the walls down. It's more about having that conversation. I'm clear on my boundary. I like people to be on time because it shows respect for my time. And when someone doesn't show up on time, I feel like I'm not respected, or I don't feel appreciated. And then having a conversation about it. If you feel like it, it can also just be like, well, I'm going to continue on and see what happens. And high standards attract aligned partners because it's someone recognizing that you feel really confident in yourself. You feel really connected to who you are, and you're aware of what you want. That's a very valuable and highly attractive way to be. And healthy love grows where openness and self-respect coexist. So if you are respecting yourself and you're connected to who you are, you know what you want, and you're able to communicate it in a way that's not damning or just like immediately slam the doors shut, and you're having a conversation about it, that's also where the growth comes, where the openness comes. Maybe someone's going to say to you, I can't believe this happened, and I tried everything I could to show up on time, and I really wanted to, and XYZ happened. Then you can see how you feel about that and if you want to continue. And it's just information for you. Being unavailable to unavailable men means allowing the right people space to show up. So that person that you feel immediately like there's a flow, and you feel like they're actually being really open with you, or letting you know certain things that have happened, texting you beforehand and saying, I'm really sorry, but I'm just running a little bit late, and I really hope that you can give me a chance, or having that conversation, that flow back and forth. Embodiment means trusting your ability to walk away without closing your heart. And this is no matter how the date goes. So whether the date is going well, or it's a second date and you decide that it doesn't really feel like something that you're interested in, or you're not feeling that connection or the ability to connect, you don't feel at ease, whatever it is, whatever reason, it's your reason. And you realize that the embodiment means trusting that it has nothing to do with the other person. It's just that you have decided you're going to continue on looking and not to date this person anymore. And you can continue on and not have that mean anything. It doesn't have to mean that, oh, that was the last chance I've had, or this just shows that this will never happen and I'm never going to find anybody, and just slamming the walls of your heart shut. You can make the decision to say that this didn't work out and I don't feel that connection and I don't want to continue this, but I'm going to continue looking, and it doesn't mean all of those things that my mind is trying to tell me it does, which causes you to say, that's it. I'm deleting the apps and this is not worth my time. You don't have to go into that space after you've made a decision, because this is about you connecting to someone deeply and finding someone who you can feel at home with. And that requires you to stay open. You can't connect to someone or even see if you're going to connect to someone if you are closed off. And I hope you can make that connection today as we've been talking through it. It's something that's just never going to happen. And it's probably the root cause of chasing after someone who's unavailable, because you are closed off in certain ways. You have found a way to close down your heart, which is understandable. But I'm just saying that if we are closed down, we're not going to actually authentically be connecting to someone. And that's where all these false starts or maybe unsatisfying or unavailable relationships have happened, because you're not actually able to connect to the right people and you're not attracting that right type of person. So in closing, I wanted to just say that holding standards while staying open requires emotional steadiness. It does require bravery, but it's leaning into what you truly want, what you truly deserve, what you are worthy of, and embracing and claiming that. If you want support strengthening that inner confidence, the Truly Aligned Love audio program helps shift your dating energy so you naturally attract better matches and feel more grounded in your standards. It helps you to go through how to prepare before and during and after a date and all those things I talked about. You can find it in the show notes if you're ready to embody those high standards with openness. I hope this has been helpful today, and I can't wait to see you next time, where we're going to talk about what changes when you're ready for a healthy relationship. I'll see you next time. Remember, you can't make Mr. Unavailable love you, but you can choose someone who does, and love is closer than you think.